All right, I'm gonna do a how to clean your ammunition video. Um, I don't know why I do it. I just get kind of obsessive over the fact that after you've had these in your magazines for a while, they get real tarnished and faded looking. Anytime I load a magazine, I always wear gloves. So these don't have no fingerprints or finger oils or nothing on them. They're brand new, factory out of the box. Put them in the magazines, and a year later they look super tarnished compared to some of these ones I just cleaned. So I clean them, and I can't wait to see some comments about why this is stupid or whatever. As far as all my research goes, I've seen people submerge their ammunition in just standard tap water for 24 hours and then cycle them through. I've never seen a misfire. I've never seen a dud or nothing after soaking in 24 hours of water, and I'm not doing that. I'm simply just running a little bit cleaner on it. Um, and rinsing them off, and then I use a metal polish. That's why I just touched that one, because I'm going to do a metal polish, and then I put a little bit of gun oil on them. I put just a tiny little bit on, and then wipe it off with a paper towel. Put my load gloves back on and load my magazines back up. So let's look at the before and afters. Here is a Hornady hollow point for my wife's 380. No, wait a minute. Yeah, I think this is for the 380. Oh no, this is a Hornady for my 9mm. This one is a 380. Full metal jacket. Okay, so what I use is this Barkeeper Sprint. This stuff works great on any metal surfaces. It removes rust, it removes any tarnish or anything. It really puts a nice shine. So I just take one of my little dip cups here and put a good amount in there. And then I add a couple of drops of Dawn Platinum. The only Dawn worth buying, in my opinion. So add a little bit to it. Get some hot water. And normally I'd make a container like this for just rounds and rounds and use it until it's completely gone, basically. But I want to treat you guys special and to mix up a whole thing just for these couple of rounds here. You're welcome. Alright, there we go. And I don't submerge them or anything. I do want to make sure I get that Barkeeper Sprint on here really good. Let's just do half of it. I'm just going to do half of it. Rinse it. This one was pretty darn clean already, but I can see somewhat of a difference in cleanliness. Okay, I don't know if you can see the difference or not. Let's just go ahead. This one's a lot more tarnished looking, so let me just go ahead and clean this whole thing. Set it to the side. Make sure I go all the way around it. Clean it real good. This is a pretty stiff Bristol plastic. I actually get these at Vance's brush, and I use them for cleaning my firearms and obviously my ammunition. Alright. And since this is a hollow point, I like to blow out the tips. So what I do, instead of going out and getting an air compressor and everything else, is take a straw, blow it out, wipe it off, make sure it's good and dry. And then there it is, nice and clean. No more tarnish. And I take it with the towel and I set it down over here. Now let's get to this real tarnished looking Browning Full Metal jacket for my wife's 380s. Sometimes I just notice taking them out of the box after a while of owning them, they'll look real tarnished. There, I did one side. Oh, I can see a big difference just looking at it in person. I don't know if you'll be able to pick it up on the camera though. Let's see. Okay.
We announced the sharing of food with the world in the building of this Jewish temple as a symbol.
There's the clean side. And here's the side that's still tarnished. So let's go ahead and finish up cleaning that. You think this is crazy? You should see how often I clean my firearms. I clean them once every other week. I'll do hers and then mine. I got a pretty decent little schedule. And we don't even go out and fire them right now because of the corona. We used to go to the range 3 or 4 times, maybe 6 times a year before corona. And now they just sit up in the room. Mostly under our pillows unless we go somewhere. Now if we go somewhere, I am pretty careful. I got a gun safe that has a line that's attached to the wall. Well, a pipe. So I make sure I lock those up anytime I go somewhere, especially if my roommate's home, because I wouldn't want... I don't think anything would ever happen with that, but I would rather be safe than sorry. Okay, so there's the 2 I just did. Where does my camera do that? See, that's all crystal clear. Oh, I have this. I used to cycle every once in a while and then reload, and it would with these Hornadies, they get pushed back in her 380, and I don't know. I always make sure they're perfect. Just absolutely all of them exact same size and distance. Now for the next part, I have these gloves that I use for the polish. And I don't like getting the polish in the primer creases because you can't get all the polish back out of the primer creases. And I feel like that would add you know, some debris inside the firearm while firing, and I don't like that. There it is. So I just use this chrome and metal polish. It works really good. I lost the lid a long time ago, so I just plopped this paper towel on here at some point, and it actually worked. It worked out better than the cap anyways, since it's basically a cap that keeps it from drying in there. And I can just pull it out and use it as an applicator. So, yeah. I'm going to take some of these. Some of my wife's. And yeah, I just dab it on there. Try to put it on as thin as I can. It's kind of hard when you first start applying it because the paper towel is extra dampened. Make sure I don't get it inside the hollow point because you won't be able to get all of it out. And make sure I don't get it on the primer or anywhere around that. There we go. 2. Halfway there. 3.
you will see justice done. Don't worry. Oh, stay close to Mr. Williams. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for the delay.
Alright, here's one mag of her. Well, actually, both of her 380s only take 6 rounds, which is more than enough for a self-defense situation, in my opinion. Whereas my 9 takes 12 rounds. So I'm gonna finish off the rest of these, and then I'll come back to take the polish off and apply the gun grease. Oh no, I can't hit pause with my glove. Got it back on with the gloves. Had to push it a couple times with them on to get it to shut off, and it just turned right back on. I just boop. Anyways, so I already did these with the gun oil. Nice, shiny, polished, clean. I put it, like I said, I put that on there, and then I wipe it off with a paper towel. And what I feel that does is there's many fine surface scratches in the casings and in the projectiles themselves. And almost all ammunition comes that way. I've never found one that comes perfectly polished or buffered or anything. There's always real fine, hard to see, you gotta look real close, surface scratches in them. This is the gun oil I prefer. I am a Lucas oil product fan, a big fan. And it says it is designed for weapons that experience high volume, full auto and suppressed fire. It provides unmatched burn-off resistance protection unlike any other multi-purpose gun oil. Polymeric film protects the metal parts from rust, wear, and moisture during extreme conditions, and it neutralizes acids caused by contact from human hands and resists drying during long periods of storage. And it's a really good gun oil, and I've had this for a long time, and I've barely used any, and I use this for a lot more than just cleaning firearms too, by the way. So, get back to it. Here is the Full Metal Jackets with the dry polish. You can see it kind of looks a little whitish, and I just take it on these paper towels and get the polish off, polish it off, and you can see all the darkness that came off and how just how real shiny that and clean that is. I feel like the cleaner, the smoother the performance. And I don't do this with all my ammunition. If I go to the range or something, I buy a box and spin through it. Cycle through it. I do this for my stored ammunitions for home defense. That just get stored in the mags and left there for long periods of time. They all end up getting tarnished looking. And I think that's just natural for copper and brass to do. They eventually, just through moisture, dust contact, so just contact with microscopic things, I think copper and brass tend to get tarnished over long periods of time. But like I said, I've had these in the mags for about a year now. Gone to the range a couple times this year. Gosh, it has just gotten so expensive, and you cannot find 380 anymore. And I wish I would have known that when me and Brandy did go to the gun range, because we spent through a lot of our 380, and a little short on it, short supply on it now, and you just cannot find it. I can't find it anywhere. I mean, you can find it online and stuff, and people, since it's so hard to get now, people are just price gouging it to the max. I've never seen anything like it. I've seen a round of 50 on Gunbroker. When was I looking it up on Gunbroker? Probably about 3 or 4 months ago. But I saw a box of 50 Blazer brass and someone wanted $200 for it. I'm not a big fan of Blazer. They use just the lowest grade powder they can get their hands on. Honestly, out of the Hornady and the Browning, pulling these projectiles and looking at the powder, with my puller here. The Browning has the best powder I've ever seen. It's the cleanest. I don't know how to explain it or describe it. I think it's the highest quality in my opinion, and you should check it out yourself. I got that puller on Amazon. I think I spent about $17 on it, and I noticed when I first got it, I was like, man, there's no way this plastic will hold up. So I was trying to be real careful and not hit it super hard, and doing that was physically impossible to remove. To some of these Browning Full Metal Jackets. Now the blazer all comes out in like just a couple hits, ting ting. What I found with these, you can actually see how tight they're in there. If just looking at it, you can see like a ring around where the projectile sits in there, and that is just how tight they sit in there. And what I ended up doing, I just figured, hey, if I break this puller, it was only $17. I'll just buy a new one. And so I just gave it my all. I was just like a blacksmith or something, and it didn't break, and the projectiles ended up falling out about 4 or 5 hits in. I did have a movie on in the background, and it's off, and that's the title menu music. Very I don't know, Backstreet Boys, I guess. I don't know what that is. Almost done with these 6. Then I will show you how I apply the oil and remove that as well. So yeah, I like to take my thumbnail through the glove and press it up against where the projectile seats into the casing, and also take my thumbnail and through the glove and press it through where it extracts on the back of the casing. And just spin it around and just make sure I get all that polish off. All right. Now for some reason, let me line these up over here nice and neat for video presentation. Fragile. Huh. Must be Italian. There we go. And there they are. After being polished, after being cleaned, polished and buffed. Now if you look at my gloves, this one doesn't have much polish on it. And this one kind of does, because with these, so with the hollow points, I try to dab it on real careful not to get any inside the actual hollow point part. And then with the Full Metal Jackets, I just put the metal polish on there and roll it in my fingers and set each one of them down. It's a lot quicker that way. Here's my 189. I've already oiled this and everything, so it's just ready to go back in the mag. So I just take my oil, and at first I'll put quite a bit on the tip of my finger and then rub it in to my thumb, because it'll soak into this rubber. But basically I will start with these since I got so much on there, and I will just rub some on there. Oop. Ooh, it's a little bit slippery. Rub some on there. Oh my goodness, I'm struggling today. Actually, I put too much on my gloves. Definitely did. I'm also still avoiding getting any oil or stuff around or in the primer by just simply not touching the back where the primer seats. Alright, try not to get it inside these hollow points either. I don't know what that would do. I've seen people do some pretty crazy stuff. I watch a lot of gun channel content on YouTube, and I've seen people fill these with like crushed red pepper and then cap them off with some more lead and fire them out. You would really think that could potentially jam your barrel. The projectile could get stuck because material would come out, but I never saw anything bad happen. Okay, there's that. Those are all oiled. Now wipe off, so the other side of the paper towel is still somewhat clean. None of the debris or anything from the polish came off on this side. So I just get the oil off my gloves, and then one at a time, again, just wipe off all the excess, because you don't want a whole bunch on there. It'll get in the chamber after firing on the chamber, and it allows more gunpowder residue to stick to the chamber, so it would get clogged faster. So you don't want oil inside your chamber. So you want to get the excess off. Like I said, I feel like this just gets stuck inside of all these microfiber scratches on the casings and the projectile and makes them smoother, I feel, and cleaner. Okay, one down, 11 to go. So I will come back when we're mag loading. Alright, I'm back again, and they have all been cleaned with the paper towel. I still have the paper towel. And it is time to reload mags. So these are my mag load gloves. Premier Defense. Get them all nice and tight. I have real big fat sausage fingers, so you know, it's kind of hard to find gloves for me. I used to buy the disposable black XXXL, and they would fit perfect, but the problem is you go through them quite quickly, so reusable gloves is the way to go for me now. So let's put my 9 back in here. It's kind of tight because we got all 12 in there, so there's that. Alright, and this one can stand up and this one can't because it's got the nifty little finger grip extension for her Taurus Spectrum. So what I do is I got a mag upstairs loaded for my 9 that has the Full Metal jackets. Sammy, please don't knock any of these over, dude. Just dishes. That's dishes. Do you have like a radar that senses every time I'm making a video? You just gotta walk up in the camera, don't you? Alright, there's that one. So what I was saying before Sammy hopped up here is what I do is I keep mags loaded with the hollow points in there for the home defense, and then I keep mags loaded with the Full Metal jackets in a little case upstairs in our nightstand. And the reason I do that is if I catch someone trying to steal my truck or something, I would swap mags out for the Full Metal jackets just in case I need to shoot through my truck. So there's that one. Okay. And every time I shoot, when I'm cleaning my firearms, every single time I shoot, I take all the mags apart, all the magazines apart, and clean the internals and oil the springs with thin coat oil, or that gun oil that has like the protective coating and stuff on it. And then I shine these up, no fingerprints, right? And like the looking doors and stuff aside, they totally missed their target demographic. I'm like, you're going for late teens? I should have brought these over here before I started the video up again, but I didn't think about it. There we go. I clicked in, and like I've said in one of my previous videos, I do not ever keep rounds chambered in the firearms. I feel like I could chamber a round safely if I ever needed to use one, which hopefully I never will. I mean, I feel like one of the most important things a person can do is focus heavily on security for your home. My house is completely surrounded by cameras, every angle, outside and inside. The only place I don't have cameras is in the bedrooms and the bathrooms. But every other angle of this house is completely covered inside and outside. I got signs all around. I got extra ammunition glued up in the windows as a warning. Yeah, so I've done everything I feel like I can do. I got these door things that you put under the doorknobs to keep them. I always keep them on. I lock my doors anytime I leave the house, even when I walk to the mailbox or to my truck. I do everything in my power to completely prevent me from ever having to use a firearm on somebody. And if somebody did end up getting in my house or my truck, I wouldn't just go out guns blazing trying to take a life, because that's just a horrible way to look at things. I got handcuffs and stuff in here. I'm going to give you the opportunity to get down, put your hands behind your back so I can get you in cuffs before I open fire, unless I feel like you are an imminent threat to my life. If I see you with a firearm in your hand, any kind of, I don't care if it's an airsoft gun or not, I wouldn't know. If I see you with some sort of firearm in your hand or something, or a knife, or you'd lunge at me, or something like that after I ask you to get down, then yes, I would defend my life. But here is my little container that we keep in the nightstand. Firearms, my oil, and at some point I do want to make some gun cleaning videos and show you full teardowns where I take the firing pins out. Now this firing pin is obviously designed not to be taken out. It's full of teeny tiny little springs that are almost impossible to get back in that. And it took me forever when we went to the range, and the first time I took that pin out, it took me forever to get it all back together. I had to use some magnets and everything else. But yeah, eventually somewhere down the road, I am going to do some teardown videos and cleaning. And I will take this firing pin out just so I can show how I get it back in there. And since I've done it once before, I think I could probably do it a little easier than I did the first time. But there you go. I cleaned my ammunition. Tell me what you think.